We're talking about kind of a peaking and then a
Yes.
sudden drop off. What's the
Yeah.
implications of that? If this is
Yeah.
actually transitory?
Yeah. Well, I mean, everything's transitory, right? I mean, 90+% of all humans that have been alive are no longer. But but first of all, I mean, you're going to for it to persist for a very long time, assuming that you accept the notion that it hasn't already, you would have to have a continuing mismatch of demand and supply, right? And we've seen it time and time again. We just don't know exactly how long the cycle takes for those things to resolve themselves, right? So we presume that Shanghai, et cetera, will not be on lockdown forever. We presume that the lack of availability of semiconductors will not persist forever. We presume that the escalation in home prices can't continue, on an annual basis the way that has been occurring, simply because you can, if you're having double-digit percentage increases year after year, at some point there's a disconnect between the ability for home buyers to pay those prices and what the prices actually are. And the same goes for automobiles, with the used and new car prices having, risen in ways that I've never seen before and would have never been able to forecast. So I just think over time those things do have to align. And it's not going to happen all at once. But in the meantime, Russia invaded Ukraine, right, and that has had immense implications on all kinds of prices, everything from nickel to palladium used to make catalytic converters to excuse our use of fossil fuels in automobiles, as well as obviously everything we eat and the gasoline that creates that pollution. So, I would say let's see what happens with March and April. It's probably going to be ugly with the measures of inflation, and then we'll watch the producer price index as well, because obviously that's the wholesale gauge. And if we begin to see that just kind of simmer a little bit, maybe come off full boil, maybe then we'll get at least some better readings on things at the consumer level or the other measures of inflation. And obviously, once you get into the second half of the year, you're also going to have more forgiving year over year comparisons, and that may again take some of the tension out of that.